Hello, my name is Phil Meyer, and I'm a solution architect. And today I'm going to give you a brief overview of Oracle's relatively new product called Predictive Cash Forecasting. What the application does, it specializes in Oracle planning application that enables treasury and finance teams to create data-driven cash forecasting models. It delivers more accurate forecasts than traditional Excel methods by leveraging driver-based formulas, artificial intelligence, and machine learning. It enhances cash flows by promptly identifying issues, allowing for timely adjustments and optimization. It facilitates continuous short and medium-term cash forecasting on a daily, weekly, or monthly basis. It supports various forecasting techniques, including driver-based trend analysis and predictive modeling. It integrates data from all finance and operation sources impacting cash flow and ensures a single version of the truth for all cash-related data. The problem it addresses is that corporate treasury and finance frequently list improving cash forecasting processes as a top priority. Many organizations rely on disconnected, manual, and labor-intensive spreadsheet methods, resulting in high-level cash forecasts that are done no more frequently than monthly. Consequently, actionable insights are often limited as issues are only recognized as they arrive. Oracle has set up the application with personas, and a persona would be a cash manager, a controller, a treasurer, or a process owner. Today, we're going to focus on the cash manager who's responsible for entity level cash forecasts across operating, investing, and financing activities. Now we'll do a brief demo. So when you log in to the predictive cash flow application, you'll see this landing page. Today, we're going to focus on periodic cash forecast. The first page that opens is a graphical representation of the cash flow. It shows your inflows, outflows, and net cash, as well as graphically. The next tab is your rolling forecast that shows the line item detail by week. In this example, we're doing a 13-week forecast. You can see it's got line items for your operating cash inflows and outflows. Let's look at one line item. We're going to look at receivable revenue receipts. If we right-click and go to View by Forecast method, you will see this is the revenue by week that has been calculated. It is using cash drivers to calculate it for all weeks. If we go to right-click in the revenue receipts, we'll get this form. This first line here is your revenue by week. You can either enter this in manually or it can be fed from a source system. To get this calculated down below, you go to the revenue pay terms. So for revenue receipts, in the first period, you're going to receive 70% of your revenue. In the second term, you'll get 20%, and in the third period, you'll get 10%. If we navigate back to revenue receipts, you'll see that in the first week, you get 70% of 1.6 million, and then 20% of it, and then 30%. And then the same logic repeats for the rest of the weeks. Let's go back to the rolling forecast tab and pick another line item. This time, I'm going to pick the salaries. So we'll go to View by Forecasting Method. And this is showing right now the fixed salary by week. And it is also using cash drivers. We'll right click and go to salary payments. Here you can set up what you expect to pay in fixed salaries for the year and what the bonus would be. If we right click and go to salary payment terms, we show that the fixed salary is paid monthly, but it's booked bi-weekly. Annual bonus is paid annually in March. So we go back to the salary payments, and we can see that bonus is paid in week 10, which is in March, and the 1.5 million is paid out every other week. Let's go back to the rolling forecast and look at another line item. Let's look at customer receipts. Here we're doing a forecast by customer. This is pretty much a manual input where by your top level customers, you're putting in what you expect to receive from them. So of course, your list may be longer for your company. For the ones that aren't high level, you would throw the receipts into this line item here. And then you go back to rolling forecast. You can see that $300,000 is in cash receipts. Now, you have the option of putting in manual adjustments. So here you can put in actual overrides if you don't like how your fixed salaries were calculated. You can put in a manual adjustment here, and that will carry over to your rolling forecast tab. Trends. This is a way to calculate trends, and there are various methods to do so. You can do it by current year actual average, previous period actuals, forecast actuals, current year actuals, or year-to-date average. This requires there to be historical data in the system. So in this one, we're using previous year actuals, but let's change this to previous year actuals average. And we're going to increase this by 5%. So we hit save. And now it has increased it by 5%. These down here don't calculate because we don't have any actual data for these line items. Other inputs you would have are your cash from investing activities. These are items that are normally not able to be calculated, and they're compiled offline. And here you would just enter these for what you expect. Also, for financing activities, you would manually put these line items in. Before you start the forecasting process, you may want to set the methods for each of your line items. So, customer receipts is using smart drivers, which are, for example, your payment terms, and cash drivers. Predictive uses history, and manual input says, I'm only going to enter it manually. I'm not going to use any method to build the forecast. At any time in the process, you can go analyze what you have done so far. And this page will give you a graphical representation of your cash flow. So for this entity, you can see your opening balance and all the components down to your closing balance. You can see it through a graph as well as in numbers. There are also reports that are delivered out of the box. Let's look at the weekly cash forecast report. And this gives you, by the entity selected, what your opening balance is and all the items that affect your cash flow. So I hope this gives you a good overview of predictive cash flow. Thank you for your time.